mass media is an elongated mark with a milestones journey that is still being continued. The evolution of media occurred due to the need to pass on a message. In ultra-modern times, the line between necessity and luxury is getting blurred, but the boom of mass media keeps on growing. Mass media and its evolution came into being as one of the direct necessities of mankind that were to stay informed and connected in a way that was beyond the capability of human physical senses. The earliest form of information for the masses was inscribed on stones, caves, and pillars. There's always been a necessary to pass on important information through generations along with spreading it to the masses. So going back to the prehistoric age, prehistoric refers to the time before the existence of written or recorded history. As the tools were relatively crude, archaeologists believe that a system of writing had not yet existed during this era. But as prehistoric men learned how to sharpen their tools and use them for hunting, they also acquired the knowledge on how to use these materials in carving stones. Eventually, this paved way for them to create a system of writing which marked the start of the historic period. So this prehistoric period is very much important to us as of today because it gives us insight into the development of the human mind in ways. It's also the period where everything started and helped us have a much more advanced media because without the prehistoric history, the evolution of media would have never happened, and who knows, we might still be living in caves and gilded stones.
The Industrial Age is a period of history that encompasses the changes in economic and social organization that began around 1760 in Great Britain and later in other countries. Characterized chiefly by the replacement of hand tools with power-driven machines such as the power loom and the steam engine, and by the concentration of industry in large establishments. Here are some of the inventions in the Industrial Age. The first one is in 1590, the first newspaper was printed in Western Europe by Gutenberg Printing Press, established by Johannes Gutenberg. In 1839, Louis Daguerre ushered what we know now as photography with his daguerreotype system of capturing images in a flat copper sheet. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. In 1877, Thomas Edison invented the phonograph. In 1878, Christopher Latham Sholes invented the first typewriter. In 1884, Samuel Morse invented the first telegraph. In 1887, Emil Berliner invented the gramophone. In 1888, George Eastman invented the first easy-to-use handheld camera called Kodak camera. In 1891, Thomas Edison invented the kinetoscope. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers had the first commercial screening of a film. They used their invention called cinematography. In 1895, Marconi invented the radio. Then, in 1927, Philo Farnsworth invented the first television transmittal of pictures.
The Electronic Age, the 1930s to 1980s. The electronic age is the period of information computerization that was made possible through electrical switches. The present period can no longer be regarded completely as the electronic age. We can classify this period as the period of the Internet of Things. People harnessed the power of transistors, which led to transistor communication becoming more efficient. So back in the electronic age, they used radio, visual imagery, photographic communication that benefits people. It was the beginning of the new age of faster communication and transmission of information all over the world. And it opened a new era that paved the way of the new information era that we have today. Inventions of the telephone, the telegraph, the radio, movies, television, and the internet all extended communication and expression. These revolutions changed the world of information and knowledge, resulting in transformative effects on society. We must emphasize the technology back in prehistoric age up until now, because we give thanks to all of the inventions that have been in good use back then, Because if not for them being invented, we will not have good media that we have now today that benefits us all and making our society a lot better.
Digital media are any medias that are encoded in a reliable machine formats. Digital media can be created, viewed, distributed, modified, and preserved on. Digital technology has revolutionized almost every aspect of people's life in recent decades, like official works, shopping, music, movies, television, photography, travels, transport, and long-distance communication are just some of the areas that has been transformed. Media is the most convenient to use because it's a lot more faster to use and more convenient. For example, in sending letters, we don't need to wait for a month just to get a response from our pen pals or something. And also news. We also don't need to buy newspapers. We just can open the web and see the news.
So now we discover that in the evolution of media have different generation, and we see now different devices for communication, storing, and sharing information throughout the years. Transitions from one generation to another generation have affected our media development. Certainly, media fulfills our roles as we shape the learning environment in our society for being such as entertaining, serving, and educating the importance and usefulness of media. Considering media is hugely powerful to educate and influence. It appeals to us in our multiple learning styles. Ideally, we have engagement with media in learning and also allow us to be aware of the use of this media in our civilization development.